right, welcome in to
So into bourbon.
episode.
37. Episode 37.
We don't know. We don't know what episode it is.
Episode 37, because we're going to edit it to say that.
If you are the one person who is tuning in to watch it, no, wait. People don't tune in anymore.
Do you tune?
I just gave away my age.
Do you surf? Do you surf over? What do you do?
Anyway, if you're laying in your bed, looking at your phone, sitting on the toilet, whatever you do.
Wash your hands.
Now that we've painted a wonderful picture for everyone, let's get into what we're drinking tonight.
Let's drink some bourbons.
So, I just picked one off my counter tonight. I didn't tell Charlie what we were doing. So this is Glen's Creek Stave and Barrel. I know Glen's Creek it's not a distillery that a whole lot of people are familiar with. You don't see their stuff out in the wild all that much. Well, I guess you do. You probably do in Kentucky more so than I do here in Indiana. Not sure where all they distribute to, but they're a small distillery in Frankfort, Kentucky. They are very near Castle and Key, Woodford Reserve, and Buffalo Trace isn't too far away either. So if you're planning a distillery tour in the Frankfort area, that would be a nice little route to take. Glen's Creek to Castle and Key, Buffalo Trace, Woodford, they're all good places. I haven't been to Glen's Creek yet, but I'm sure it's a fantastic place.
Field trip.
Yeah. So Charlie, the story behind where I picked up this bottle is, so I have a client. I'm a realtor, by the way. One of my clients' name is Angel, and she is a bourbon connoisseur like we are. And so for her closing gift, I thought it would be cute to buy her a bottle of Angel's Envy. Oh. Well, just so happens that she showed up with a bottle of Glen's Creek for me. So it was kind of a funny little story. So
that's sweet.
Yeah, that's how I came to own this little bottle of
You know what they
Glen's
say?
Creek.
Every business transaction is improved by the presence
of bourbon. You just totally made that up.
No, it's our catchphrase.
Okay. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. I forgot.
Catchphrase.
Mm-hmm. Sure it is.
Slogan.
Okay, so a little bit about this particular bottle. It's and I don't have a cheat sheet. I promise you I don't. 21% rye, 75% corn, 4% malted barley. It is sourced from MGP.
Woo!
Glen's Creek does distill their own bourbon, but
I hope so.
This particular bottle is sourced from MGP. So,
can I say something about that?
Sure.
If you are wondering, and maybe you're a first-time, second-time viewer, and you're like, MGP, what's that? Midwest Grain Products. And if you're kind of new to bourbon, or even if you're not new to bourbon, but you're branching out and wondering, where are all these Glen's Creek and Toby's Farm and Wildcat Distiller or whatever, I made those up, but if you're looking at the bourbon and you're looking at the bottle and you're looking at the label and you see that it says distilled in Indiana, you can't see that, but it says distilled in Indiana. If it says distilled in Indiana, more than likely it's MGP, which is Midwest Grain Products in Lawrenceburg, Indiana, which is a big giant bourbon factory.
There you go. Big giant bourbon factory. That's that kind of sums it up.
That's what they are.
So they also make vodka, and what else do they make? A bunch of other different products. So check them out. This is actually a double oaked bourbon. So once they get it from MGP, they put it in another barrel and store it. I don't know how long. There's no age statement on this bottle. So a lot of people are fans of Woodford Double Oaked. So if you're a fan of that one, this may be one you might want to pick up. It retails for $39.99. So maybe give it a try. After, of course, we're going to give it a try and give you our opinion of it. But we'll see if maybe it could be a less expensive alternative to Woodford Double Oaked.
Can we pour?
Absolutely.
I'm excited. I've been
Are you?
sitting, yes, because I'm out of my element, because normally I'm talking, wow, good color on that. That's really surprising. Normally, I'm jabbering on about some such nonsense, and I'm sitting here having to listen to Glenn. And if I'm not drinking, then that's difficult to do. So, I'm kidding, but seriously.
By the way, 115 proof. So it's in your in your wheelhouse.
Yeah.
It's got a really, really good color on it.
It really does. It doesn't really, not a lot of legs there.
No, not much. One more thing. So many people are familiar with Old Crow. This Glens Creek is actually on the site of
that's awesome.
Old Crow.
Yeah, Old Crow, Old Crow, like the original OG Old Crow. If you're a bourbon guy and you're into dustier, older stuff, Old Crow Chessman. Have you ever had a Chessman?
I have not. I've heard a lot about it. I have not had it.
Holy poop! But yeah, that's some primo stuff there.
So, real quick before we go on the Old Crow. So Glens Creek also puts out what they call OCD number 5, which is actually made with yeast that they resurrected from one of the old fermentation tanks from Old Crow.
I saw the story, a news story on that. We will definitely do an
find
episode.
a bottle
we
of
will
that.
find a bottle of that. Are we drinking now?
Well,
Pretty good nose on it.
what are you picking up, Charlie?
Corn and I don't know. This is like episode 38. We've filmed 26 episodes.
We've had a
tonight.
couple before this one, so
I don't know. Sweet.
Yeah,
There's something there that I can't quite put my finger on.
there is a particular aroma.
Yeah.
And it's pleasant, but I can't. I'm with you. I can't
quite
really
put my finger on it. And
can't
this
put
is
my
why,
nose on it.
Can't put my nose on it. This is why we're not very good at this. So, but it'll leave you wanting and be like, oh, gosh, I got to find a bottle of that.
I figured it out.
Okay, tell me. So
Windex. No,
That's
I'm
it.
joking. I am joking.
Clorox.
Please.
No.
I don't want to. No. Please don't call me Glens Creek.
It's okay. We're drinking. Cheers.
Cheers.
Glens Creek from Glen.
So, obviously, I have already tasted this, so I'm gonna just kind of shut up and let you talk and tell the people.
As a general rule, I strongly dislike double oak bourbons because I don't like oakiness. I think it's the most overrated of the flavors. I really like this. I gotta tell you, I was expecting this to be like television gold and me drink it and literally spew it in the sink and knock Glenn over and throw the bottle and like cry. That's pretty good. It's not it's not overwhelmingly oaky. For the proof, 115 you said?
Yep.
Very mellow. It's kind of what you expect from a classic double oaked without being obnoxious about it. There's still some good flavor there, some good classic bourbon flavor, kind of that sweet, a little bit of spice in there too. That I kind of like.
It's got the sweetness, but it's not super sweet. A lot of people like the Woodford Double Oaked because of the sweetness. I think I'm a fan of Double Oaked, Woodford Double Oaked. But when I revisited this the other day before, when I was trying to figure out what am I going to bring for the next episode.
Say on camera that it tastes like?
Right. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to compare. I'm going to taste this and Woodford Double Oaked side by side. And when you put them side by side, once again, because Woodford is 90 proof, this one kind of.
I gotta tell you,
out.
I'm really impressed with that bottle. Kind of sweet and savory, dark chocolate, maybe that sweetness because it's
100%
sweetness. And again, another dangerous bottle because it doesn't drink like 115 proof. I mean, a drop of water would really mellow this out. But that's a good pour. That's a good pour.
Dark chocolate, a little bit of vanilla on it, and it's not really hot, but it's got a little punch. What you would expect from a 115 proof, but very smooth.
You swirl it around in your mouth for a while. It's not unpleasant. There's a little warm, kind of as you drink, but that's a really, I'm genuinely surprised. I think, like a lot of bourbon people, you look at a bottle and you see it and you're like, oh, here comes another MGP offering. And because this is the thing with MGP, is when people go and pick their barrels, there were 3,000 people before that picked their barrels. And so when somebody's like, oh, we picked the most amazing barrel in MGP, that's what the person before that said, and the person before that, and the person before that. So they can't all be unicorns. And sometimes they may not be very good. And they may have to be blended, and they may have to be double oaked. And sometimes people double oak or finish to hide imperfections. I'm not saying that's what this is. If it was, then kudos, the plan worked. This is really good. I absolutely, this is not a bottle by appearance that I would buy off a shelf, but yeah, it's kind of...
Yes, my advice, because every distiller is clamoring from advice from me, right?
Yeah, the bat phone's going off constantly, so...
would be to spruce up the marketing. I mean, it shouldn't be the case, but let's be honest. A lot of people purchase a bottle for the first time based on the label, based on the appearance of the bottle. And this, to me, is, it's kind of got a cheap look to it. I don't mean that, I'm not trying to be down on them. It is
handwritten. I mean, it's bottle 153, barrel number 23, 115 proof. I mean, it's...
But honestly, if that appearance keeps this bottle at $39.99,
that's a $39.99.
That's a $39.99 bottle.
Kudos to you, Glen Creek. Keep killing it. How long have you had this bottle? Don't say 5 years.
No, maybe 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Maybe 2.
Hopefully they're still in business.
They are. I can promise you, they're still making this. They're making rye, they're making rum, they're making vodka, they're making tequila. They're doing it all down there.
I love tequila.
Down there in Frankfort.
So I'm still very surprised at how good that is. That is, I really wanted to have this, like, oh God, this is terrible. But it's really good. Yeah. That's a great bottle of bourbon. And it makes me sad because I tell people all the time, oh, you got to go out and you got to try these distilleries and you got to try so-and-so and give it a chance. And then I looked at this bottle, I was like, that's going to be terrible. And it's not. It's really good. Yeah. It's a really good bottle of bourbon. Oh, this is great. As per usual, I got to stop clapping. As per usual, get out and try some weird bourbons that you wouldn't normally try.
Do it.
Because this is what's fun. I mean, everybody loves hunting for Blantons and Wellerses and waiting in line for the Pappies and all that, and that's fine. But what it really comes down to is find a bottle that you don't know if it's going to be any good or not, you don't really know anything about, and open it with a buddy and be really critical of it, because you can. Because there's nobody telling you can't, and it's fun to make believe people care about your opinion. But in that same vein, if you see stuff that says distilled in Indiana, don't be afraid to try it, because MGP puts out some really good stuff.
Good stuff.
I've had a
high quality.
Yeah, I've had a lot of really good little local, and when you're traveling too. Funny MGP story. We used to go to Tennessee a lot. I played basketball in Tennessee. My wife's family was from there, so when we would go visit them, I would hit all the liquor stores in this little town in Tennessee. And there were a bunch of little Tennessee distilleries that are starting to pop up now. Well, just like we've talked about, when you open a distillery, you don't have bourbon, so what do? You go to MGP or you go to Dickel. Don't make that face and they do an episode. So there were 2 or 3 different little companies that went to MGP, and I was finding like single barrel MGP, single barrel sherry finished MGP, barrel proof MGP, and it was all like $35 or $40 a bottle. But it was cheap and set on the shelf because nobody knew who it was. It was some weird little Tennessee distillery, but it's all MGP bourbon. So check your labels, ask around, and find some bottles and drink them.
And honestly, that's what's fun to me when I first got into collecting bourbon. It was in the early 2000s when most people weren't doing that. And you could find a lot of stuff that for, retail that was really good and really, nowadays, bottles that you would pay thousands of dollars for that you could just walk in a liquor store and buy. So to me, I'm not interested in paying secondary prices for bourbon. So to me, the challenge is find a bottle that's $40 that you can easily get anywhere you go, and find one that drinks more like $100 or $200 bottle.
Yeah, and then find the next one.
Right.
And the next one, because that's what makes it fun. So
until somebody like Fred Minnick talks about it on his podcast, and then you can't find it anymore.
Yeah, Fred.
Damn you, Fred.
Yeah, Fred. Why are you telling everybody what the good bourbons are? Keep it under your ascot. So that's what he calls his awards, the ascots. So yeah. I thought it was funny. Fred, if you want to come on the show, we'd love to talk to you. He's not watching.
You know what? I know Fred.
Oh Lord.
And if he were to watch this, I would be very embarrassed. So, Fred, if you ever do watch this, and I'm sure you won't.
Please don't watch, Fred.
Don't judge me. Don't judge me.
Don't watch.
All right.
This is not for you.
Hit the like and subscribe button, because we just did an excellent job of selling you on why our little podcast, or whatever you want to call it, is so wonderful. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Cheers. And it's a Jim Beam property.
So Jim Beam owns Glen Creek?
No, I just made that up.
Oh. Oh. All right, we can edit that out.
No.
Are we even recording? Are we recording right now?
We are recording, yeah.
Shit.
This is some of our best material. Action, Jackson. Coming at you.
And I do my best work in the news.